at the Seiko Open Weeks 2022, there's a lot of partners and visitors and specialists. And one of the people that I have the pleasure to talk to now is Stefan Kessler, who works for a company called Lambda. And Lambda is specialist in drying. Is that true or is it not true?
That's absolutely true.
I'm so happy. Thank you, Stefan.
We are specialists, or our core business and core competence is NIR radiation. That means a very short wave infrared radiation, which has the benefits with the short wavelengths. We can penetrate layers and we are drying from the inside out. This is the biggest difference between traditional drying or the other one, which are medium wave and long wave infrared, or hot air drying from the top. They close the skin and then prevent the evaporating of the solvent. By the penetration, we start the drying from the inside out. That means we can accelerate the drying and we can control the process much better than the others.
So I get that. It must be quite difficult to get that to work. Let's talk about that in a second. I was just thinking that in a world where it seems that a lot of things are moving towards inkjet, I take that the technology that you provide is brilliant for that kind of applications, because basically you need to be sure that you can dry things fast. You also need to be sure that you can dry it in layers, because sometimes you have layered build up of inkjet. Or it can be varnishes and be inks, of course. Right? Is that like a right assumption?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. The inkjet world is more and more moving into a water-based system. Before it was, everybody was running to UV, but now with requirements for packaging, food requirements or health requirements, they are moving more and more to water-based systems. And for water-based, you need to have, if you do not have a prepared substrate which can absorb the humidity, you need a drying system. And this is why we are here. We have realized this 2.5 years ago, and due to the Corona situation, we had a lot of time to develop new modules, some lightweight modules like the one I have here with me, which is produced most parts of additive manufacturing, so to keep them lightweight. And this is originally designed for multipass drying, so to keep these accelerating and decelerating of the printhead as low as possible. But we can also integrate them into single pass printing systems. So yeah, this is what we are doing, and we have. It really starts to. It looks like we can start a success situation at the moment.
When you say that there was a tendency moving first to UV and now to water-based, basically with NII, it basically means that you can have similar drying capabilities as you see with UV, but just on a water-based thing.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
So
exactly.
Basically, I mean, with UV you flashes it, and it's what's it called?
Polymerization?
Yeah, what is it called? You know, you have the thing they don't like in UV.
Photo-initiators.
Photo-initiators, yeah, precisely. And with when you avoid that totally, you basically have something that is food compliant and basically gives you kind of the same applications.
Exactly.
And, yeah, okay.
Exactly. It's the same. We achieve more or less the same speed. I had a couple of weeks ago, I had a trial with, it was not a digital, but it was an analog printing for cosmetics, screen printing. And the maximum drying time was roughly 1 second. I could do it in 0.9 seconds with the same result with a 2-component ink instead of using a UV ink. So you can compare it more or less one by one. Even when the drying is a completely different. UV drying or UV curing, we have to say.
Because it basically flashes
it's a polymerization.
Yeah.
It's a chemical process. And solvent, to get rid of the solvent, even water is a kind of solvent, even when it's the worst solvent you can get, is a physical drying. So on the one hand, quick polymerization, chemical with UV, and on the other hand, a quick physical drying by getting rid of the solvent with NIR radiation.
When you look at the market and the challenges of adapting this technology, I take it's if people already have invested in UV systems, then of course it's kind of difficult to sell an NIR system initially. Or can you easily change ink and things like that on many of the machines, so you can basically utilize a more, let's say, a more sustainable drying mechanism?
First of all, it's easy to replace the the drying or curing systems, because the existing curing systems on multipass units are mounted left and right of the printhead. We can replace them one by one with our units. The replacement of the ink is also quite easy, but you have to take care for your printhead. Your printhead has to be capable to run water-based ink. That is, I guess, in the process, the most difficult thing. But from the drying technology, it's easy to replace.
When you come to the open weeks here at Seiko, what is your expectations?
To increase my network. That's my biggest expectation, to be honest. I'm now in touch with the digital world more or less for 1 year. My initial start for digital world was exactly here in this place 1 year ago. In the meantime, I have met at least once per month, every time the same people, especially when we're talking about industrial applications. I'm not talking about digital multipass. Industrial is, for me, is the digital single pass printing. This is the real industrial application. So at the end, you're talking every time with the same ink guys, with the same printhead guys, with the same integrators. It's becoming more or less a family.
Fantastic. So you will increase your family during these next days as well, right?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, great. Good to
You're
meet you,
welcome.
Stefan.